Suspend your disbelief, your rational, analytic mind, just for a minute, just for the length of this podcast. What if all I am about to tell you is the truth? What if the information you will be provided is from a divine source? Just for this time, I am your Axis Mundi. Consider this podcast your channel, your second opinion. When I do a reading, something larger than myself is working through me. So ask what you wish. This is your channel, your doorway to the divine. Oh, welcome to John's Tarot. Welcome to you from wherever in the world you may be listening. I really appreciate your listening, and I appreciate your listenership. I've been doing quite well on my podcast only version. I've been getting listeners from pretty much all over the world, from Russia, Ireland, Australia, and in the United States, California, Delaware, Texas, which was a big surprise, Washington, New York, Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, Virginia. Welcome you all to John's Tarot. Yeah, it's been an interesting and exciting journey. Today I'm going to just review a little bit about the things I've been talking about for the last month. I hope you don't find this to be too much of a talking head video. I started out, and it's been a journey of uncovering, discarding, and taking on a new perspective of what's going on in the world. And the tarot has been a great assistance to me in that journey. Now, tarot, this is what kind of throws everybody off. Tarot, I guess I was born with certain abilities that kind of manifested a little later in life. And I just chose tarot as a way to focus those abilities because I don't want these things interfering in my normal life. I can't have them bleeding into my normal life. So I chose tarot as a way of exploring these abilities. And it's been good. And the rest of the time, it's pretty much off. The only time I give it permission to manifest itself is when I read tarot cards. But I have really been drawn to take a look at our current chief executive over the last month. And it started out, and I don't know what made me do this, but I was kind of drawn by spirit. It started out taking a look at his health. And that's where I started. And my journey over the last month has been uncovering, discovering, and discarding a lot of what has been presented to me and what is the truth and what is not the truth. And I started out last month taking a look around July. You can go back and take a look. I'm taking a look at his health. And I took symptoms that I seen that were common, and everybody sees them. We got the ankles. I have the being tangential. I have the issues poor activity tolerance, inability to concentrate, possible the thing with the hand. What is that? What is that discoloration on the hand? Confabulation that he does, and I take all in his past history of COVID, and I put all those symptoms into a AI and asked for a differential diagnosis, and it gave us a differential diagnosis. You can go back and take a look at it, and contrary to what has been told us, and we've been gaslighted a lot. And that's what came out of this. He gaslights us on a daily basis. Contrary to what he told us, he is not in such good health. He possibly has some AFib going on. He's definitely got some cardiovascular problems going on. He definitely possibly has some normal pressure hydrocephalus. He has the classic triad. What else is possibly going on? Possibly dementia. He definitely has some early signs of dementia. He's got some issues related to cognitive decline. And I've been posting those up on my webcasts and doing little short videos on it. There's no denying it. And we're gaslighted. I'm in perfect health. I go, I'm 6'5" and I got weigh 240 pounds. He says he's a linebacker, and it simply is not true. And So I took a look at those symptoms and I put them up there, and he's been gaslighting us about that. And then about the mental decline, I've been putting those things up there. He clearly has some a cognitive decline. Whether that is dementia or Alzheimer's, I don't know. But I have clear documented signs of decline, of cognitive decline. And that is not unusual for an 80-year-old man. He's 79, coming up on 80. And he is, contrary to what he's been telling the public, he is just a elderly gentleman, infirm in health, in decline, and there's no getting around it. That's not what he tells us. That's not what he wants us to believe. But that is what's happening. That is truly what is happening. And so I looked at those issues. And then I looked at last week, I looked at, on my podcast only version, I looked at his, he has this personality disorder. The personality disorder is called malignant narcissism, and we've all known this. We elected him fully knowing this, that this was not a secret. It was out in the open. Nobody ever admitted, but it's been common knowledge. And how this malignant narcissism has manifested itself in our national and public life, and it certainly has in policy and the things that are going on. And what came out of it is that in terms of his narcissism, how narcissists are, they don't care about other people. They don't see other people as meaningful or having a soul or anything like that. He just sees other people as something to use, as objects to use in order to gain his goals or satisfy his desires. And what the narcissists do is they keep you off balance. They keep you up because they don't want you to look at their pattern. And his pattern, I clearly expose his pattern. His pattern being he will love bomb people. He'll get them to in all his relationships. He'll love bomb you. He will enlist you into his narcissistic fantasy, and then he'll use you. He'll use you to help achieve his goals. And he did this clearly with Elon. And then he will discard you. And I have a little example of that. I'm going to show it when I go over to my other page. So the tarot has been very instrumental in helping me get a clear picture of what's going on in our national life. And I'm concerned. And I wonder if our national life can survive 3.5 more years of this individual doing the things he does. He is not interested when I talk about narcissism, so he's got the tariffs in place. The tariffs are not to help. He could care less about the deficit. He doesn't buy groceries. He doesn't balance the budget. And he doesn't care about the American people. What he wants to do is keep us off balance. He wants to keep us in emotional turmoil so he can continue to do what he does. And he's increasing his wealth. That's why he's always putting out stuff like every week. He's putting out stuff every day. He has to control the narrative, and that's what narcissists do. So he's been controlling the narrative. And as far as the tariffs go, that's just to keep us off balance. That's to keep us confused. He doesn't care if the prices go up. He doesn't care about the economy. He's got plenty of money. In fact, he's been making billions more since he's been president. He doesn't care one whit about the American people. I saw him on television the other day. He's talking about putting in new grass. Oh, I'm going to put in new grass in Washington. New grass? We didn't hire him to put in new grass. We hired him to lower the cost of living, lower the price of groceries, and to control inflation. And he's talking about putting in new grass. We used to have immigrant groundskeepers to do that until they got rid of them all. We don't need people to plant new grass. He is just, it's just been outrageous, some of the things he's been doing. So the tarot, and on this journey, I have a clear view of what's going on in the world. I have a clear view of what this individual's saying and the direction he's taking the country. And I cannot believe a word he says anymore. And what I'm really encouraged to hear is that the news media is finally starting to catch on. The things I've been talking about over the last month are now coming up more frequently in the mainstream news. His health problems, his declining health, in fact, his declining health as we move forward, because he's not looking good. Declining health, his narcissism, the gaslighting, and more people are becoming more and more aware of what's going on. And I've gone through great pains in order to display these things. So you take a look over the last month of the podcast I'm doing, started back on July, mid-July. And I clearly document the stuff that's going on, and the tarot has been instrumental in helping me see, helping me clearly see. And I learned about myself too during this process. I didn't know I was a type of person called an empath. And I am one of those types of people where I feel other people's feelings. I feel energy in the room. And there's always been a bit of a dance between empaths and narcissists. And that's no wonder the guy triggers me so much. And I am less triggered, and I'm much more protected. And I guess I am what they call now an empowered empath, because I just don't believe it anymore. I'm past the point of believing it. I remember, I don't know if I should go into this, but my dad had a drinking problem, and he would always tell us, oh, it's not my fault. It's not my fault. I didn't, until one day, and we would believe it as children, and until one day it came to me that I don't believe it anymore. I just can't swallow it anymore. And it's that way now with our current leadership. Now, Pam Bondi gets out there, and Prakash Patel, and Hegsworth, and they're all spreading his narrative. These are all just flying monkeys, part of people he's recruited, and they truly believe what the stuff they're saying. They have truly swallowed it, hook, line, and sinker, and they're out there selling it to us. And that's what he does. That's what flying monkeys are supposed to do. So they go out and carry out the head narcissist's dirty work, and so he can keep his hands clean, and they totally believe it. And then they spread it on the news media, and I'm just not buying it anymore. I'm not sorry. I'm just not buying it anymore. I'm what they call a empowered empath at this point. And every chance I get when I go on MSN or one of those things, I'm just pointing out exactly what he does. Let me move over to this little thing, and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, my first story had to do with, here we go. My first story had to do with FBI raids home of former National Security Advisor John Bolton, a frequent Trump target. And I wrote in there, oh man, how could people be so naive? This is what a narcissist does with all the relationships. Idealize, devalue, discard over and over. Love bomb, manipulate, blame shift, repeat. They will devalue so everyone knows that you are the problem. This is his pattern. I thought Bolton would have been smarter than that, but I guess not. Do not get into any relationship with this man, not professional, personal, political, or business. If you are in such a relationship, run away. Do not look back. And you can see poor Bolton in the background. Look at him. He's got this look on his face like, how could this happen to me? Man, that's what these guys do. Don't let this happen to you. I am going to move right over to my tarot page before I do another story. And I'll throw some cards. And there we go. I'll throw some cards, and maybe throw some runes, and we'll take a look. My ability to read tarot is a gift. It's an expression of divine love, and I'm here to share it with you in that same spirit. So let me go ahead and shuffle the deck. And I'm going to go ahead and talk about, what's my first question? And I'll throw some runes on it. And what I'm doing as an empowered empath is, and like I said, every time I get a chance to shine light on this individual's patterns, that's what I'm doing. I'm not buying into it anymore. I don't care. I don't care what Pam Bondi says. I don't care what these guys say. I'm not buying into it. I was so confused early on. about how come every time somebody gets in a relationship with this guy, they get burned. It was clear to me before. It's much clearer to me now. It's because of his narcissism, his pathological stuff that's going on that he's brought into our national life. So, three cards. How can we? How can I? How can? You know, as an empowered empath, I see what's going on. And I have some protection, and I've been looking into some other issues that I've had in the past, and where I've been protected. I've seen what was going on, but how can we help other people come to some level of awareness in regards to what's going on with our chief executive? How can we help other people gain some level of awareness into what's going on with our chief executive? And my first card is the Ace of Wands. Okay, that's a good one. And my second card is the Four of Swords. And my third card is the Seven of Pentacles. All right, I can deal with that. Let's throw some maroons on that and see what we get. So I'm just going to do a bunch of readings today, and I got a couple of news articles. We'll talk about the news articles. Well, let's see. For the Ace of Wands, Odin, Freya, please help guide this reading. How can we help other people become aware? How can we help other people become aware? The Ace of Wands. Oh, and this rune is called Ingwas. There it is. And the second rune over the Four of Swords. This rune is called Perthel. And the third rune over the Seven of Pentacles. This rune is called Ensus. And this one has to do with the messenger. So, in a quick reading, how do we help other people? Everything is just starting to become the Ace of Wands. Everything is just starting to become aware. People are just starting to gain in this awareness. The Ace of Wands shows new growth. It shows a man holding a branch that is sprouting, or it just shows a hand from the heavens that is sprouting new growth. So there is new growth. Everybody is just starting. This is just at its beginning. People are just starting to wake up to what's going on. They're just starting to see his patterns, as I've been displaying his patterns clearly. But other people are just starting to see it. And then the rune is called Ingwas. And what Ingwas means is it's the end of the beginning. Okay? People are just starting to become aware. There's new growth happening. People are looking around and wondering what's going on, and they're saying,
"Hey, there's something awfully screwy going on around here."
That's what they're saying. Yeah, there's something awfully screwy going. So they're just starting to have some awareness, and it's the end of the beginning. It's not the beginning of the end. It's just the end of the beginning. So people are starting to have some awareness. They're waking up slowly but surely. Even people are coming out of the Trump echo chamber. And I said his name again. I don't want to do that. And they're starting to become aware that things are not as they were sold. You know, the economy's not getting better. Inflation is not going down. Prices are going up. You know, something's going on. And they're starting to wake up to it. And then the Four of Swords, that one is, about taking a rest after a battle. Taking a rest, that's kind of where some of us are at right now. We need to just back away from all the noise that is coming out from this administration. Back away and take a rest. And think about it. What would your grandfather tell you about what's going on? What would your ancestors say? If they could give you some advice, take a rest, do a little meditation, think about this a little bit. And then the rune is called Perto. That is the game of chance. Take a chance, take a gamble. What can it hurt for you to take a little chance, take a little gamble, to do a little meditation, take a look at what's going on? And there you might be able to say you might come up with some different answers. It's also a rune of like the rune of the phoenix, to fly above the problems and take a broader look at what's going on. Take a like a bird flying over a mountain. You have that high altitude, and where you can look down. So as you take this rest and you fly above your personal problems, because this is what he wants us to do. He keeps throwing stuff out there and keeps us pinned in his emotional turmoil, so that we don't achieve clarity. So achieve some clarity. Take a rest. Do some meditation. Fly above these personal problems or the stuff that's coming on the media, and take a clear look at what's going on. And then the third card is the Seven of Pentacles, and this has to do with it's more of a natural evolving thing. So, people aren't going to wake up all of a sudden. It's not going to happen. It's more of a process, like planting a crop. And you have to treat it like that. We have to treat it like that. It's more of an issue. Planting a crop, tending the crop, and letting it grow, rather than it's not going to happen all at once. And I know for some people, it's not going to happen at all, period. And then the rune is called Ansus, and that is the rune of the messenger. Listen to what your higher power tells you. Am I the only one out here that does any prayer and meditation? I always find that when I pray and then I ask for an answer, and when I pray, I don't ask for things, really, not very little. I ask for answers. The answers come. So if you pray about it, meditate about what's going on, you will get the answers you are looking for. And who am I to say what your answers will be? But these will be your personal answers. And that's what is going on with that one. Let me move over. What's my next story going to be? And I'll move over to that. So this is a story about something they've done. Mr. Trump did just recently about Iran rejects a planned transit corridor outlined in Azerbaijan Pact. So there's been a Trump brokered agreement for a pathway between these two Middle Eastern countries, Azerbaijan and Armenia, where they could put in energy, could transfer through this area. These two countries have been at war for some time, but so whenever there's money involved, there's going to be war, there's going to be problems. I'm not sure which side has all the money, but there's been some disagreement between these two countries, and our chief executive there has what they call it, the peace corridor. Let me read it a little bit. Iran says it will block a corridor plan in the Caucasus under a United States broker peace accord between Azerbaijan and Armenia, which has been hailed by other countries in the region as beneficial for achieving peace. The top advisor to Iran's supreme leader said on Sunday that Tehran would block the initiative, with or without Russia, with which Iran has strategic alliance alongside Armenia. U.S. President Donald Trump thinks the Caucasus is a piece of real estate he can lease for 99 years. Balaji told the state-affiliated Tasmin News, referring to the transportation corridor included in the peace deal. This passage will not become a gateway for Trump's mercenaries, and it will become their graveyard. So, Iran is always tough on those types of things. So there's this corridor between the two countries. Trump has proposed this corridor, and he has a 99-year lease on it, and I believe he wants to put troops in there. So my next question will be regarding that. Let me gather the cards. Will Trump put, and we'll just do a 6-card reading. Will Trump put, let me shuffle the deck. Some of you guys aren't seeing some of this stuff. I received some of this information from my Persian friends at work, and there were some really nice people. Where's my shuffle the deck? Does Trump intend, and Trump doesn't do anything without there being a profit in it for him, first off. 6 cards. Will Trump put American troops in the Middle East between Azerbaijan and Armenia? Will Trump put American troops in the Middle East between these two countries? And my first card is the Nine of Wands. Wands and cups mean yes, swords and pentacles mean no. My second card is the Five of Wands. A lot of conflict. That always means chaos, conflict. My third card here is the Ten of Pentacles. That's a no. I had two yeses and a no. My third card is the Three of Pentacles. And I got two yeses, two nos. My fourth card is the Hermit, or my fifth card is the Hermit, and my sixth card is the Death card. This is not a good reading. This is not good. I got to throw one more. Is he going to put troops in this region? Page one. Yeah, he's going to put troops in this region. I'll do a short reading along with this one because it's kind of bad. How do you feel? The first card is the so yes, he's going to put troops there. That's his intention anyway. This Nine of Wands, veterans. So that's the troops, veterans. You see the guy with a bandage over the part of his head, hanging onto a wand. So yeah, he intends on putting troops there. And then that area right there is involved in a lot of chaos. The Five of Wands. I always see that as chaos. Fears the Ten of Pentacles. He fears that we will not see him as the great peacemaker, as the leader, as the wise guidance. That's his fears. What's going on in terms of there? He fears that we're not going to see him as that. What's going on there right now? So he's working on building something. Not just building this alliance. That's not his. He doesn't care less about this alliance. He's about making money. He's about making money for himself, and he's working on building that and building support for that. And then what's against him on this is the Hermit. He's isolated. He's becoming more and more isolated, and as time goes on, that's what's going to be his problem. And then if he puts troops there, there's going to be death. And I hate to say that, but that's what's going on. So this is not a good thing, and it's not going to take place. What else do we have here? What other article do I have here? Take a look. This article here. So if you've been unaware of it, our current chief executive, amphibious warships join U.S. destroyers nearing Venezuela amid crackdown on cartels. This is from August 21st. The U.S. has added a powerful amphibious squadron to a previously revealed deployment of 3 Navy destroyers nearing Venezuela as part of major counter-narcotics operations. 2 officials familiar with the deployment spoke on condition of anonymity, told the Reuters news agency that 3 Navy warships, the USS San Antonio, USS Iwo Jima, and USS Fort Lauderdale, could be stationed off the coast of Venezuela as early as Sunday. This is something we need to keep an eye on. Together, the ships are carrying more than 4,500 service members, including 2,200 strong Marine expeditionary units. So, this is another area of concern for me with this administration. So let me move over to my tarot page and let me gather the cards. And 5 cards. 5 cards will do it. And I'll just say, let me shuffle the deck. What can we expect from this? What can we expect from this military buildup outside of Venezuela? So let me go ahead and shuffle the deck. What can we expect from this military buildup outside of Venezuela? What can we expect from this military buildup outside Venezuela? First card is the Hangman. Second card is the Magician. This Magician has to do with potentials. And then the third card is the Sun in the past. What is helping the situation? The Knight of Coins. And what can we expect in the future? The 5 of Pentacles. I haven't been throwing much runes today. I'm just going to leave it like that too, I think. I'll just take this out of the way. The hangman, in terms of what we can expect from this operation, I guess he hasn't. Nobody has fully, completely made up their mind yet. I'm concerned that he will commit U.S. troops and put Marines on the ground over there. I mean, he put Marines on the ground in L.A. Why wouldn't he put the Marines on the ground in Venezuela? So right now he is kind of in between. He hasn't made up his mind on that. He has advisors telling him no, but he is desired to do yes. Remember, he wants to keep us distracted. And he doesn't care if American lives get hurt, doesn't care if American lives are lost. He just cares on controlling the narrative. Remember, he's got this Epstein stuff hanging over him, and he needs to control the narrative. So the magician, I don't know if I've got to publish this or not. That's pretty harsh. The magician, that is the card of putting together potentials. Manifestation, a manifesting thing, and that is the obstacle. Can he manifest this? Can he put this together? Will he have the support of the American people to put American troops on the ground in Venezuela? And very well, Venezuela is probably not a friendly country to us, but he's going to present false pretenses in order to put troops on the ground there. And will he manifest the support he wants through the media, which is the narrative he wishes to control? In the past, he's been successful. The Sun, he's been successful at doing this type of thing, at incorporating the media, at incorporating his minions to do his work, his flying monkeys to put out the narrative. In the past, he has been very successful. What is happening right now? The Knight of Coins. What's happening right now, what is helping, is that he doesn't have everything. He doesn't have all the pieces in place. He doesn't have all the support he wants. And that is what's helping. As it's a plan. He wants to put this plan in order, but he hasn't yet gathered all the things that he needs in order to do it. And what's going to in the future? This has to do with being fair. The Five of Pentacles, and I'm just reading what the cards say. It has to do with being fair, being fairly paid, fairly treated, helping the disadvantaged, and what I would say, from what the cards are saying, is he's not going to be able to pull. I don't think he's going to pull this one off, because he's just not going to get the support he needs from other people, from the American public. Although that's never stopped him before, I just don't see. I see more of a negotiation thing. I don't see him putting troops on the ground here. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up for this week. I covered some interesting ground here today.
Goodbye, Professor Marvel, and thanks a lot.
It's my pleasure. Go ahead and take a look at my past podcasts, especially from July, and see if you agree with me. And send me a note. If you think I'm full of it, you can send me a note and tell me I'm full of it. I can tolerate that. If you have a different opinion, I'd be interested to hear your opinion. But I think I voiced mine quite clearly. And I think it's just at the beginning of a period of time where other people are going to start having the same opinion of mine. It's just the end of the beginning. And I hear a lot of news sources that are coming out and repeating the same thing I'm repeating. So, what do you think about that?
Oh, far out, man.
Oh, well, yeah, because as we move forward with this guy, all I can say is...
The pain.
So until next week, be careful, be cool, be kind, and remember, have courage, find faith. And I'll see you all next week. All right, bye-bye.